Duncan Stewart says, I like your setup. I'd probably add hardwood instead of the carpet. Yeah, I've done it all in all my motorhomes. I like the carpet. I might do rubber, though, and then have carpet liner, throw-down rugs over top of it. I love your fireplace. That's a keeper. And a portable windmill would be cool for boondocking. Again, for boondocking, if you're in the boondocks, which I am very rarely, but I understand. Kelvin Annie, compost toilet, no more black water tank. Yeah, I don't, it's not, to me that's not a necessity. Yeah, I'm not, I don't mind going and dumping the tank once in a while, and I don't know how about building a compost toilet into a wet bath shower like mine. It's just not something I have any real interest in getting into. I guess if I was living out in the woods in the middle of nowhere again, but. Jason Deadman says, I'd put a solar water preheater on the roof. I'm setting one up on my fifth wheel this summer. Preheater. Okay, let me tell you something. I don't need one. Explorer, all the hot water tanks are propane, all except the model that had the electric sofa in the back instead of the permanent beds. The electric sofa model did not have a propane hot water tank. They had electric only hot water tanks. So that's a big drawback if you find one with the power sofa in the back. Yeah. But the propane... First of all, they routed the engine radiator. The cooling system actually has pipes coming all the way back to the hot water tank, which preheats the hot water. So when I drive for 20 minutes, half an hour, my hot water is already hot. So I don't have to use propane. Quite often I'll drive somewhere, park, then have a shower, and I never even had to turn on my hot water heater. So it's actually pretty efficient. Angela M says, I'd change out the hardware inside from the brass crap to something more modern and sleek, polished steel, etc. Angela, it's funny you mentioned that because these have been sitting in my cabinet above the driver's cab for 2 months or so. They're brushed aluminum door grabs to replace those ones. So yeah, they're going on there soon. Aaron's Hot Dogs, hey, cool name, says, I agree with you on the windows, man. Another one. I have thought about painting the exterior surface of the window black, then applying reflective insulation, then building a thin wall inside the van all around. That way outside looks the same, but no windows inside for heat, AC to escape. Great privacy and security. Again, you're right, but from the outside, if nobody knows that's there, on the inside, they'll still smash your window and cause you a lot of butt hurt. Okay, hopefully not. Hopefully they don't get in your van and really cause you butt hurt. Rock Royalty MC says, if I were you, I'd take the current solar panel you have and put a few more of those flexible low-profile solar panels so that you get more wattage and charging the batteries faster. The interior looks mint. It's just the solar panel. It could use a change to keep the RV low profile. Okay, no, absolutely not. The flexible solar panels, I don't like them. Horror stories from everyone that I've ever met that tried them. They are very inefficient, very expensive. They take up more real estate for less watts per square feet. They will ruin your paint job if you ever try to remove them. I don't think there's any advantage to them. And let me tell you something. Nobody knows I have frickin' solar until I point it out to them. I don't put them on the sidewalk, it's on the roof. Only you and I and people who live in RVs can spot them and see them. Even the Class B with the high top, my freaking windows, my fridge vents and all that, it's invisible to the average Joe. People walk by and not realize it's a motorhome. The thin, flat aluminum thing on the roof, which happens to be a solar panel, is completely irrelevant. I'll tell you, the block I'm parked on right now this summer, for example, the city came by 3 times and started giving notices to RVs. They were told to give 72-hour move-out notices to the people in RVs. So the bylaw officer came down to leave the notices on only RVs. Guess what? All the Class A's and C's got notices. None of us did. Nobody in Class B's got notices. It doesn't matter if it's a high top with the fridge and all the stuff in it. To everybody else, it's just a van, just like any other transit van, wheelchair van, work van with a high top, so it's invisible. So the solar thing is irrelevant to me. It's fine. I even have one angled on the front. Nobody's ever noticed it. I have to point it out. They're like, oh, that's solar? So Not worried, not worried, not worried. I actually like the look of the boxed solar panels up there. I think it looks awesome like that. I don't want them stuck and flexing around the corners, and I much prefer it like this. Big Blue Glide says, add a Harley. Doesn't have to be a big touring bike, but a Sportster Iron 883 or the new Street 750. Chicks love the power between the legs. Let me tell you something, man. My van gets chicks, and scooters get chicks. I've always had scooters, and they fucking love them, especially in this city. Holy cow. If you're a mod and you have a Vespa, you've got chicks riding on your Vespa with you. And but to me, again, I'm trying to downsize, be a minimalist. I don't want to have two vehicles. That's one of the reasons I sold the scooter I had. You watch my earlier videos, remember I had the scooter on the back of this. Too much hassle. I did just buy a mountain bike. You guys are going to see it soon, and it has an 80cc motor on it, so it's a gas-powered mountain bike, but it's easy to maintain. I don't need to insure it, put a license plate on it. I can lift it up in a bike rack just like that. It's no big deal owning that. It's not a burden. Vin L says, here's a suggestion. I would have these awesome hot girls come into my van so I can do a photo shoot and help promote my business. Dang, you stole my idea! Ha! Keep up the great videos! I live vicariously through you, my man. Right on! High five! Secret Scott says, on the subject of window security, have you considered plexiglass? Yes, 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 yes. That's like I said earlier, it would be nice to have nice, slightly rounded corners, window covers to go over the glass on the outside. But if they were made in some way that I could still maybe open my windows if I wanted to, I don't know. Might be too expensive. Frosty the Snowman says, you can write an ebook, sell it for a couple bucks, how to make your rig better. Good idea. Kang VBC says, hey Justin, I would install USB port, electrical outlets, and a 6,000 watt power inverter. I only had a 100 watt power inverter for the last year in here, and I rarely ever use that. And I just replaced that with a bigger one. And it was just for future use if I ever need it. I almost never use inverters for anything. I don't have anything that really needs to be inverted. So I would prefer not to use the inverter unless absolutely necessary. Sometimes a girl comes over and needs to use like her, you know, her hair curler or something like that. JW Aviator says, remove the shower curtain and double bathroom doors. Install one glass door so that it's a true wet bathroom. What do you think? This is a wet bath with a toilet in it, remember? So that means every time I sit in there, I'll have a clear door next to me and everybody can see it. Well, it'd be pretty cool to have a plexiglass door, I have to admit. William Martone, you have to check your camera settings. The video's a little dark and the color balance. You talk about that video? That was just done. Dude, almost all my driving videos are done from my phone, remember? It's always the same. I haven't changed any settings. I have 3, 4 cameras. I just use whatever's nearby. That's usually my phone when I'm driving. Michael Brower says, Webasto diesel heater and Kocher wind turbine. Again, wind turbine, nice toy, but not practical for living on the city. Diesel, no thanks. I don't want 3 fuels. I already have gas and propane. The last thing I want to do is have to fill up another fuel type. Vanorama RV says, number 1, I would double up stack on top of your existing solar panel, another similar size solar panel. No, I don't need anything as big as my main one. Again, I'm only putting that 30 watter on the back just to catch a few rays during sunset and sunrise if my back end is pointed towards the sun during those times. But I don't need any more. I'm already maxed out, man. Like, I don't need more. I have my LED lights are on almost all the time. I have some lights on. My TV is on all the time. My stereo is on almost 24 hours a day. And I never ever went below 50. Well, I never went below about 35, 40% on my deep cycle battery. Now I have 2 batteries. Like, it's now overkill. I don't need more solar. So it becomes kind of redundant to add any more panels to this because on a nice day it'll all be charged before I wake up. He has a lot of ideas too. Leave the windows intact, bolt birch plywood or something on the inside. Again, on the inside. Again, on the outside, I want something constructive for the outside. 3, spray foam underside of floor for an R10, so insulation barrier. Already has insulation underneath. And the rubber floor going in soon. Even better. And one of the things he says is hard to do due to space, but install a Dickinson Marine wood stove for serious off-grid ability. One could even own one as insurance in the event of Armageddon and use where propane unit is installed. Well, yeah. But, you know, the Dickinson wood, or what they call solid fuel burning version of this fireplace, is actually half the price of this and almost the exact same size. So it actually would fit here if I wanted it. But if I was off-grid, not off-grid, if I was boondocking, I would have got the solid fuel one. I would not have got the propane one because I'm not boondocking. I'm stealth urban camping. And I have access to propane everywhere, and propane is cheap. That's why I went with this. Plus, it's a little more stealth because you've got no smoke ever coming out of the roof. 6, route fresh water to a long 3 to 4 inch diameter tube on roof to preheat or heat water before going into the hot water heater. Again, that other person suggested that too, and I know a lot of people in their cargo vans and homemade vans have done stuff like that, but it's kind of unnecessary for this because it's a daily driver, and every time I drive, it heats up the hot water tank. So cool. You guys, so many amazing suggestions. And so many great ideas. I'm going to be putting a lot of them into action. A lot of the stuff I've told you I'm already going to do, and some of the things that you've mentioned, I'm definitely going to be looking at the possibilities in here. And I'm so impressed, man. You all rock. Keep them coming, by the way. Keep commenting on this video, on the last video. I'm raring to see the stuff that you guys come up with. Again, remember, it's got to be something good for stealth camping, urban camping in the cities. Windmills on the roof are out of the question. Things that you should have to set up and take down are kind of impractical when you drive everywhere every day in the vehicle. So it should all be something that's built in. But yeah, you guys rock and roll. So keep on rocking in the free world. Hey, so what do you think of van life?
Van life's f***ing awesome.